In the vast expanse of the cosmos, the Galactic Council stood as the supreme governing body, a coalition of the most advanced alien civilizations. They wielded immense power, shaping the destiny of countless worlds through their collective influence and technological superiority. At the heart of this intergalactic order, the members of the Council viewed themselves as the enlightened guardians of the galaxy, responsible for maintaining peace and progress among the stars. However, their lofty perch came with a sense of detachment and disdain towards the lesser-developed civilizations that sought to join their ranks. Earth, a small blue planet nestled in the Milky Way, was one such civilization that had long been the subject of the Council's dismissive glances. The humans, with their primitive technology and warlike tendencies, were seen as little more than an amusing curiosity, a species still grappling with the basic challenges of survival and interstellar exploration. The Council's perception of humanity was embodied by the towering figure of Psylocke, the regal overseer of the Galactic Assembly. With his piercing gaze and imperious demeanor, Psylocke presided over the Council's deliberations, his every word dripping with a mixture of condescension and indifference. "These so-called humans continue to clamor for a seat at our table," Psylocke declared during a particularly contentious session, his mandibles clicking in a gesture of disdain. "They have barely mastered the art of interstellar travel, and yet they believe they are worthy of joining the esteemed ranks of the Galactic Council." The other council members nodded in agreement, their expressions mirroring Psylocke's contempt. They had long observed the human race's clumsy attempts to assert its presence on the galactic stage, from their futile diplomatic overtures to their woefully outmatched military forces. "The humans are a primitive species, still bound by the shackles of their own self-destruction," sneered Crixon, the matriarch of the Zephyrian collective. "Their warlike tendencies and petty squabbles are hardly befitting of a civilization worthy of our consideration." The Council's dismissal of humanity was not merely a matter of cultural or technological superiority. It was a deep-seated belief that the human race simply lacked the necessary vision and discipline to contribute meaningfully to the grand tapestry of the galactic community. "The humans are nothing more than children, playing at the game of interstellar politics," Psylocke declared, his voice dripping with disdain. "Until they can demonstrate a true mastery of their own affairs, they have no place in the Galactic Council." The other members of the Council murmured their agreements, their minds already moving on to the more pressing matters that required their attention. The fate of the human race, it seemed, was sealed in the eyes of the self-proclaimed guardians of the galaxy. Little did they know, however, that a storm was brewing on the distant shores of Earth, a storm that would soon shake the very foundations of the Galactic Council's complacency and forever alter the course of human destiny. While the Galactic Council continued to dismiss the human race as a mere curiosity, a young engineer named Ava Sinclair was quietly making a name for herself on the distant planet of Earth. Ava, a brilliant mind with a penchant for innovative thinking, had already made several groundbreaking contributions to her planet's space program, earning the respect and admiration of her peers. It was this very reputation that caught the attention of the human military, who were desperately seeking a way to prove their worth to the Galactic Council and secure a coveted seat at the table of interstellar power. General Amelia Thorne, the commander of the Earth's expeditionary forces, had spent countless sleepless nights poring over the Council's disdainful assessments of her planet's capabilities. She knew that drastic action was needed if humanity was to ever be taken seriously by the aloof and dismissive alien rulers. With a steely determination in her eyes, Thorne summoned Ava to a private meeting, her mind already buzzing with a bold and ambitious plan. "Miss Sinclair," Thorne began, her voice commanding yet tinged with a sense of urgency, "I have a proposition for you, one that could change the course of human history forever." Ava listened intently, her brow furrowed with a mixture of curiosity and trepidation. She had never been one to shy away from a challenge, but the weight of Thorne's words was not lost on her. "The Galactic Council has made it clear that they view our military as little more than a joke," Thorne continued, her fingers drumming against the glossy surface of the table. "But I believe you, Ava. have the power to change that perception, to show them that we are a force to be reckoned with. Ava's eyes widened as Thorn revealed her plan. The creation of a revolutionary new battleship, one that would harness the most advanced technologies and innovations the human race had to offer. This vessel, Thorn explained, would be the key to securing humanity's place in the Galactic Council, a testament to the ingenuity and determination of the human spirit. I understand the enormity of what you're asking, General, Ava said, her voice laced with a mix of trepidation and excitement. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the impossible is often merely the untried. Thorn's lips curled into a rare smile, and she extended her hand to the young engineer. Then let's get to work, Miss Sinclair. The fate of our entire species rests on your shoulders. And so, with a renewed sense of purpose, Ava Sinclair set out to design the most advanced and formidable battleship the galaxy had ever seen, her mind racing with a tapestry of ideas and innovations that would soon catch the Galactic Council off guard and challenge their long-held perceptions of humanity's capabilities. The stage was set for a confrontation that would forever alter the balance of power in the cosmos, and Ava Sinclair, the brilliant human engineer, was at the heart of it all. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, Ava Sinclair and her team of engineers worked tirelessly, their fingers dancing across holographic displays and their minds consumed by a singular goal: the creation of a battleship that would redefine the course of human history. In the shadows of Earth's bustling cities, the experimental vessel took shape, its sleek, angular lines and advanced propulsion systems hinting at the power that lay within. Ava poured her heart and soul into every aspect of the design, driven by a steadfast determination to prove the worth of her species to the Galactic Council. Finally, the day of reckoning arrived. General Amelia Thorn, along with a delegation of the Earth's top military and political leaders, stood before the towering form of the completed battleship, their eyes alight with a mixture of pride and trepidation. Today, Thorn announced, her voice ringing with a newfound confidence, we take the first step towards securing humanity's rightful place in the galactic community. Behold, the culmination of our best and brightest. The Forge, the most advanced battleship our world has ever known. As the gleaming hull of the Forge was unveiled, a hush fell over the assembled crowd. Even the hardened military officers found themselves captivated by the sheer power and elegance of the vessel, its systems humming with a quiet, understated strength. However, the true test was yet to come. For the Forge, and the hopes of the human race, were about to be put on display before the unyielding gaze of the Galactic Council. Xyloth, the regal overseer, and the other members of the council had gathered in their grand chamber, their expressions a mix of boredom and mild curiosity as the transmission from Earth flickered to life on the towering view screens. Greetings, esteemed members of the Galactic Council. Thorn's voice echoed through the chamber, her words laced with a subtle challenge. I come before you today to present the pinnacle of human engineering and military might, the Forge. The council members exchanged a series of disinterested glances, their mandibles clicking with a sound that could only be described as the galactic equivalent of an eye roll. How quaint, Xyloth drawled, his voice dripping with condescension. And what, pray tell, do you hope to accomplish with this Forge, as you call it? Thorn's jaw tightened, but she refused to be cowed by the overseer's disdain. The Forge, Xyloth, is the key to proving the capabilities of the human race. We ask that you allow us to demonstrate its capabilities in a simulated battle scenario. Xyloth's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, it seemed as if he might dismiss the request outright. But then, a gleam of curiosity flickered in his gaze, and he slowly inclined his head in a gesture of begrudging acknowledgement. Very well, then, the overseer said, his tone betraying a hint of amusement. Let us see what your Forge can do. And with those words, the stage was set for a confrontation that would forever alter the course of human destiny. The vast expanse of the simulation arena was a testament to the Galactic Council's technological prowess, a holographic battlefield that could recreate the most complex celestial environments with startling realism. And it was here, in this arena of endless possibilities, that the Forge would face its ultimate test. As the human delegation, led by General Thorne and Ava Sinclair, took their seats in the observation deck, a palpable tension filled the air. The fate of their species rested on the shoulders of this one magnificent vessel. Across the void, the Galactic Council's representatives took their places, their expressions a mix of detached curiosity and barely concealed amusement. Xyloth, the regal overseer, sat at the center of the chamber, his mandibles clicking with a barely audible hum. "Let the simulation begin," the overseer commanded, his voice echoing with a sense of finality. In a flurry of activity, the holographic battlefield sprang to life, its swirling nebulae and shimmering stars providing the backdrop for the impending clash. And at the center of this cosmic stage, the Forge stood proud, its powerful engines thrumming with a barely contained power. Ava's fingers danced across the holographic displays, her eyes narrowed in concentration as she monitored the Forge systems. General Thorne, meanwhile, held her breath, her gaze fixed on the unfolding events with a mix of trepidation and unwavering determination. The first wave of the Galactic Council's forces surged forward, their sleek, advanced vessels cutting through the void with effortless grace. The human delegation braced themselves, their hearts pounding with a mix of anticipation and dread. But then something extraordinary happened. The Forge's systems sprang to life, its powerful weapons batteries unleashing a barrage of devastating energy blasts that tore through the enemy ships with ease. The Council's vessels, caught off guard by the sheer firepower of the human battleship, rapidly disintegrated, their fragments scattering across the simulated battlefield. Gasps of astonishment echoed through the observation deck, and even the stoic members of the Galactic Council leaned forward, their eyes widening with a newfound sense of respect. "Impossible," Xyloth breathed, his voice laced with a rare emotion: disbelief. The simulation continued, with the Forge engaging in a series of increasingly complex maneuvers, its systems adapting and reacting with lightning-fast precision. The Council's forces, once confident in their superiority, found themselves outmatched at every turn, their advanced technologies and battle tactics rendered ineffective against the human vessel's sheer power and versatility. As the final enemy ship disintegrated, a deafening silence fell over the Galactic Council's chamber. Ava Sinclair, her face flushed with a mixture of pride and relief, turned to General Thorne, her eyes shining with the weight of their accomplishment. "We've done it, General," she whispered, her voice trembling with a sense of triumph. "We've shown them that humanity is a force to be reckoned with." Thorne's lips curled into a rare smile, and she placed a hand on the young engineer's shoulder, her gaze filled with a newfound respect and admiration. "Indeed we have, Miss Sinclair," the general replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "And now, the true test begins." For in the face of the Forge's undeniable might, the Galactic Council could no longer dismiss the human race as mere children playing at the game of interstellar politics. The tide had turned, and the path to humanity's ascension on the galactic stage had been irrevocably altered. The deafening silence that fell over the Galactic Council's chamber was palpable, a stillness born of shock and a reluctant acknowledgement of the human race's newfound capabilities. Xyloth, the regal overseer, sat in his ornate chair, his mandibles clicking with a barely audible hum as he regarded the flickering holographic display that had just witnessed the complete decimation of the Council's forces at the hands of the Forge, the experimental human battleship. For countless cycles, the members of the Galactic Council had viewed the humans as little more than a curious footnote in the grand tapestry of galactic civilization, a species still grappling with the basic challenges of survival and interstellar exploration. Their dismissive attitudes and condescending remarks had become a hallmark of the Council's dealings with the fledgling human race. But now, in the face of this startling display of technological prowess and tactical brilliance, that perception had been shattered, leaving the Council's members to grapple with the implications of what they had just witnessed. Xyloth's gaze slowly shifted, sweeping across the faces of his fellow Council members, each one reflecting a mixture of disbelief, apprehension, and a begrudging sense of respect. "This cannot be," the Overseer murmured, his voice laced with a rare hint of uncertainty. "The humans have never demonstrated such capabilities before." Crixon, the matriarch of the Zephyrian Collective, leaned forward in her seat, her eyes narrowed in a mix of curiosity and trepidation. The Forge's performance was nothing short of remarkable. Its systems were able to adapt and counter our forces with a level of precision that defies our own technological superiority. The other Council members nodded in solemn agreement, their expressions growing more pensive with each passing moment. "We have clearly underestimated the potential of the human race," Tyloth admitted, his mandibles clicking with a sense of reluctance. "Their engineer, this Ava Sinclair, has demonstrated a level of innovation and resourcefulness that is impressive, to say the least." The Overseer's gaze shifted, locking onto the flickering image of General Thorne, whose stoic expression betrayed a spark of triumph that the Council could not ignore. "It would seem that the humans are no longer content to be mere spectators in the affairs of the galaxy," Tyloth continued, his tone growing more contemplative. "They seek a place at our table, and if this forge is any indication of their true potential, then perhaps we have been too hasty in our dismissal of their capabilities." A murmur of agreement rippled through the Council chamber as the members grappled with the implications of this revelation. For centuries, they had viewed themselves as the undisputed masters of the galaxy, their technological and cultural supremacy unquestioned. But now, a small blue planet on the fringes of the Milky Way had shattered that illusion, forcing the Galactic Council to confront the stark reality that their dominance was not as absolute as they had once believed. "We must reconsider our stance towards the humans," Tyloth declared, his voice carrying a newfound sense of gravitas. "Their inclusion in the Galactic Council may be warranted if they can continue to demonstrate their worth." The other Council members nodded in agreement, their expressions a mix of reluctance and a growing sense of curiosity. The tide had turned, and the Galactic Council now found itself facing a future that was no longer as predictable as it had once been. The human race, once dismissed as little more than an amusing curiosity, had emerged as a force to be reckoned with, and the Galactic Council could no longer ignore its potential to reshape the very fabric of the cosmos. The shockwaves from the Forge's stunning victory in the simulated battle had reverberated throughout the Galactic Council, shattering the Council's long-held perceptions of the human race's capabilities and forcing them to reconsider their stance towards Earth's aspirations for a seat at the table of interstellar power. In the aftermath of the historic event, a tense diplomatic dance began to unfold as the human government, led by the indomitable General Amelia Thorne, pressed its case for inclusion in the Galactic Council with a newfound sense of confidence and urgency. Xyloth, the regal overseer, found himself at the center of this delicate negotiation, his mandibles clicking with a mixture of reluctance and a growing sense of unease. The Council's members were deeply divided, with some advocating for the immediate acceptance of the humans, while others remained steadfast in their opposition, unwilling to grant a voice to what they still perceived as an upstart civilization. "The humans have proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with," Crixon, the matriarch of the Zephyrian Collective, argued during a heated council session. "Their technological advancements and strategic acumen are undeniable. Denying them a seat on the council would be a grave mistake." Tyloth's eyes narrowed, his gaze sweeping across the assembled council members. "And yet, their history is still marred by conflict and self-destruction. How can we be certain that granting them a voice in our affairs will not lead to further instability and discord?" The debate raged on, with both sides presenting impassioned arguments and pressing their respective agendas. The human government, sensing an opportunity to seize their rightful place in the galactic community, refused to back down, their diplomatic efforts bolstered by the growing reputation of the Forge and its daring young engineer, Ava Sinclair. Tensions reached a boiling point as the Council's deliberations dragged on, with neither side willing to compromise. The human delegates, led by General Thorne, grew increasingly frustrated, their patience wearing thin as the Council's reluctance to acknowledge their achievements became more and more apparent. "We have proven our worth time and time again," Thorne declared, her voice rising with a hint of defiance. "The Forge is a testament to the ingenuity and determination of the human race. How much more must we accomplish before you will grant us the respect and recognition we deserve?" Silot's mandibles clicked in a gesture of contemplation, his expression unreadable. "Your achievements are indeed remarkable, General Thorne, but the Galactic Council must consider the long-term implications of your inclusion. We cannot simply open our doors to any civilization that demonstrates a modicum of technological prowess." The tension in the room grew palpable as the human delegates and the council members stared each other down, neither side willing to back down. The fate of humanity's place in the cosmos hung in the balance, and the stakes had never been higher. As the debate raged on, the Forge stood as a silent witness, a symbol of humanity's newfound power and the potential it held to reshape the very fabric of the Galactic Council's long-established order. The diplomatic tensions between the human government and the Galactic Council had reached a fever pitch, with neither side willing to back down from their respective positions. The fate of humanity's place in the cosmos hung in the balance, and the stakes had never been higher. Amidst the heated negotiations, a sudden and unexpected turn of events thrust the Forge, the experimental human battleship, into the center of a conflict that would forever alter the course of history. It began with a series of skirmishes along the fringes of the Galactic Council's territories, as rogue factions and disgruntled alien civilizations sought to capitalize on the Council's newfound vulnerability. Emboldened by the humans' technological prowess, they launched a series of daring attacks, testing the limits of the Council's defenses. The Galactic Council, once so confident in its military superiority, found itself struggling to contain the escalating situation. Their traditional tactics and advanced weaponry seemed to falter in the face of the relentless onslaught, leaving them vulnerable and scrambling for a solution. It was in this moment of crisis that General Amelia Thorne seized the opportunity, dispatching the Forge and its crew to the heart of the conflict, with a mandate to demonstrate the true might of the human race. As the massive battleship emerged from the swirling nebulae, its sleek, angular lines cutting through the void like a knife, the rogue factions paused, their collective breath held in a mix of awe and trepidation. Ava Sinclair, the brilliant engineer who had designed the Forge, stood on the bridge, her eyes narrowed in concentration as she directed the vessel's systems with a precision that defied belief. General Thorne, her gaze fixed on the unfolding events, silently mouthed a prayer, her heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and dread. The battle that ensued was nothing short of a celestial symphony of light and power. The Forge's advanced weaponry and maneuverable thrusters danced through the void, decimating the enemy ships with ruthless efficiency. The rogue factions, once confident in their ability to overwhelm the Council's forces, found themselves outmatched and outmaneuvered at every turn. As the final enemy vessel disintegrated in a blaze of energy, a deafening silence fell over the battlefield. The Forge, its systems still humming with barely contained power, stood as a testament to the ingenuity and determination of the human race. In the Galactic Council's chambers, the assembled members watched the events unfold with a mix of awe and trepidation. Vailoth, the regal overseer, leaned forward in his seat, his mandibles clicking with a barely audible hum. "The humans have proven themselves worthy," he declared, his voice carrying a newfound sense of respect. "Their battleship has turned the tide of this conflict, and they have demonstrated a level of strategic acumen that we cannot ignore." The other council members nodded in solemn agreement, their expressions a mix of reluctance and a growing sense of admiration. The human race, once dismissed as a mere curiosity, had now emerged as a force to be reckoned with, a civilization that could no longer be denied a seat at the table of interstellar power. As the dust settled and the smoke cleared, the Forge's crew celebrated their hard-won victory, their faces alight with a sense of pride and accomplishment. Ava Sinclair, her eyes shining with tears of joy, turned to General Thorne, her voice trembling with emotion. "We did it, General," she whispered. "We've shown them the true power of the human spirit." Thorne placed a hand on the young engineer's shoulder, her lips curling into a rare smile. "Indeed we have, Miss Sinclair. And now, the real challenge begins." For the Galactic Council's reluctant acknowledgement of the human race's capabilities was but the first step in a journey that would forever alter the balance of power in the cosmos, and the Forge, the magnificent battleship, would be at the heart of it all. The aftermath of the Forge's decisive victory against the rogue factions sent shockwaves throughout the Galactic Council, shattering the last vestiges of the Council's long-held dismissal of the human race's capabilities. In the Grand Chamber of the Council, Xyloth, the regal overseer, presided over a tense and momentous meeting, his mandibles clicking with a sense of contemplation as he addressed the assembled members. "The humans have proven themselves worthy," the overseer declared, his voice carrying a newfound weight and respect. "Their battleship, the Forge, has turned the tide of this conflict, demonstrating a level of strategic acumen and technological prowess that we cannot ignore." The other council members nodded in solemn agreement, their expressions a mix of grudging admiration and a growing sense of unease. For centuries, they had viewed the human race as little more than an amusing curiosity, a species still grappling with the basic challenges of survival and interstellar exploration. But now, in the face of the Forge's undeniable might and the humans' unwavering determination, that perception had been shattered, forcing the Council to confront the stark reality that their dominance was not as absolute as they had once believed. "We must reconsider our stance towards the humans," Crixon, the matriarch of the Zephyrian Collective, spoke up, her voice tinged with a hint of resignation. "Their inclusion in the Galactic Council is no longer a matter of if, but when." Xyloth's eyes narrowed, his gaze sweeping across the faces of his fellow council members. "Indeed, the humans have earned their place at our table, and we would be foolish to deny them any longer." A murmur of agreement rippled through the chamber, as the council grappled with the implications of this momentous decision. For the first time in their history, they were about to welcome a new member into their ranks, a civilization that had once been dismissed as little more than an amusing curiosity. But as the negotiations began, it became clear that the path to the humans' acceptance would be far from smooth. The council members, still wary of the humans' unpredictable nature and their history of conflict, demanded a series of concessions and guarantees that would ensure the stability and continued dominance of the Galactic Council. General Amelia Thorne, the unwavering leader of the human delegation, stood her ground, her eyes narrowed with a steely determination. She knew that the stakes were higher than ever, and that the future of her species rested on the outcome of these delicate negotiations. "We have proven our worth time and time again," Thorne declared, her voice resonating with a sense of unwavering conviction. "The Forge is a testament to the ingenuity and capabilities of the human race. We will not be relegated to the status of mere spectators in the affairs of the galaxy." The council members exchanged uneasy glances, their expressions a mix of reluctance and a growing sense of respect for the humans' tenacity and resolve. "Very well, then," Xyloth said, his mandibles clicking with a hint of resignation. "We shall grant the humans a seat on the Galactic Council, but with certain provisions and limitations that will ensure the continued stability of our esteemed body." As the negotiations reached their conclusion, the human delegation emerged victorious, their hard-won place in the Galactic Council secured. General Thorne, her face etched with a mix of pride and relief, turned to Ava Sinclair, the brilliant engineer whose creation, the Forge, had been the catalyst for this monumental shift in the cosmic order. "We did it, Ava," Thorne whispered, her eyes shining with a newfound sense of purpose. The human race has taken its rightful place among the stars. Ava nodded, her lips curling into a smile that belied the weight of their accomplishment. Yes, General. And now, the real work begins. For the Galactic Council's reluctant acknowledgement of the human race's capabilities was but the first step in a journey that would forever alter the balance of power in the cosmos, and the Forge, the magnificent battleship, would remain at the heart of it all. The news of the human race's acceptance into the Galactic Council sent shockwaves throughout the cosmos, as civilizations across the galaxy grappled with the implications of this monumental shift in the cosmic order. For the people of Earth, the celebration was a joyous one, a testament to the indomitable spirit and unwavering determination that had carried them to this historic moment. General Amelia Thorne, the architect of this victory, stood tall and proud, her eyes shining with a sense of triumph that belied the years of struggle and hardship that had led them to this point. Today, we stand as equals among the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, Thorne declared, her voice resonating with a newfound confidence. The human race has proven its worth, and we will continue to play a pivotal role in shaping the future of the cosmos. As the human delegates took their seats in the hallowed halls of the Galactic Council, the members of the esteemed body regarded them with a mix of grudging respect and a sense of unease. Xyloth, the regal overseer, whose disdain for the human race had once been the stuff of legend, now found himself in the unfamiliar position of having to acknowledge their capabilities and accommodate their presence. The humans have earned their place among us, the overseer declared, his mandibles clicking with a hint of resignation. And we must now work together to ensure the continued stability and prosperity of the Galactic Council. The other council members nodded in agreement, their expressions a mix of acceptance and a growing sense of curiosity. They had witnessed the power of the Forge, the human battleship that had turned the tide of a conflict and forced the Galactic Council to reconsider its long-held biases. And now, as the human representatives began to assert their influence and voice their concerns, the Council found itself grappling with a new reality, one in which the delicate balance of power had shifted, and the human race had emerged as a force to be reckoned with. Ava Sinclair, the brilliant engineer whose vision had brought the Forge to life, found herself at the forefront of this new era of cooperation and mutual understanding. Her ideas and innovations, once dismissed as the ramblings of a primitive species, were now being actively sought after by the council members, who recognized the value that the human race could bring to the table. The human race has so much to offer, Sinclair declared during one of the council's deliberations, her eyes alight with a sense of purpose. Our resilience, our creativity, and our determination. These are the very qualities that will help us shape a brighter future for all civilizations in the cosmos. The other council members listened intently, their expressions a mix of fascination and a growing sense of respect. They had underestimated the human race, and now they found themselves in the position of having to adapt and evolve in order to keep pace with this remarkable species. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the human representatives continued to make their mark on the Galactic Council, their voices echoing with a sense of purpose and a deep commitment to the ideals of justice, equality, and mutual understanding. And at the heart of it all, the Forge stood as a symbol of humanity's newfound power and potential, a testament to the ingenuity and determination that had carried the human race to this pivotal moment in its history. The future is ours to shape, General Thorne declared, her gaze sweeping across the assembled members of the Galactic Council. And together, we will forge a path that will echo through the ages, inspiring civilizations across the galaxy to reach for the stars. With those words, the human race took its rightful place among the galactic community, its influence and impact destined to reverberate through the very fabric of the cosmos, a testament to the power of determination, innovation, and the indomitable spirit of the human spirit.